Well, for more on this story, let's go live to London, where Tom Packer is joining us. He is a fellow at the Rothermere American Institute at Oxford University. Tom, an almost unbelievable 24 hours in American politics, but at the same time, it sort of is believable as well. What have been your take-homes?
I think one of the take-homes, a bit of parallel January 6th, actually, which I think has been a bit neglected, though it certainly has been addressed, is bad. It's been a massive security. The reason why this doesn't happen all the time is American presidents and serious presidential candidates have a massive range of security, like probably more than leaders of almost any other Western country. There should have been, it sounds like, this is early days, but it sounds like the roof, it was harder to see. Somebody might be in the Secret Service, might well have been the Pennsylvania police, failed. And the guy just ran up the hill, clearly had training, ran up the wall essentially, ran onto the top, started firing, and he was also quick. He got off several shots before he got shot and killed himself. So massive security era. Unsurprisingly, almost everyone is saying how terrible this is. Rallying around Trump, Republicans feeling very angry, like Trump's been demonized and this is what causes this. They might have a point, they might not. Biden trying to be very conciliatory and saying security needs to be done. So, I think politically this could only help Trump, really, unless he behaves very badly, which he doesn't seem to have so far. But I wouldn't exaggerate the impact either. Most people aren't going to be voting on anything like this.
Trump has already come out and said, this isn't going to impact my plans for the next few days. I'm going to carry on with my planned appearances. How do you see this impacting the next few months of campaigning as we really get into it and get close to this election?
Well, ultimately, they can't stop Trump doing what he wants to do. So he will campaign and they will try and protect him. I think there'll be even more security. They'll throw resources at it. There'll be even more Secret Service. Maybe, again, it's very early days and the early news on this thing is so often wrong. I'm a bit wary. There seems to be some indication there might have been some problems with Pennsylvania police not covering some of the outer ring as well as they could. So maybe the Secret Service will take on more. But unless Trump ends up running fewer rallies, I don't think it's actually going to affect his campaigning much. Maybe it will cause a certain frisson, like might he get shot again. I have to say, if someone shot me at a rally, I'd be wary of doing rallies for a while. But somehow presidential candidates aren't the same as us. The last time something like this happened, actually, as opposed to a proper assassination, ex-president, was in 1912 when Theodore Roosevelt was running for president. He actually got shot and finished his speech with a bullet in him. So people who do this kind of thing aren't necessarily made of the same stuff as the rest of us.
Gosh, that's a historical tidbit for us, Tom. You said earlier you think this is only going to play into Trump's hands, and certainly those pictures of him with his, fist raised are quite remarkable. Do you think it makes him more likely to win, and if so, by how much?
I think it can only help him. So I think there's three ways it helps him, but I wouldn't exaggerate any of the effects. Usually these things tend to simmer down. So, for example, the example I gave you was 2 weeks before the election. And okay, he was running as an independent, but that guy Theodore Roosevelt came second, didn't come close to winning. One thing is just a sign of kind of standing up, waving his fist is incredibly, just after he's been semi-shot, is a remarkable assertion, particularly given how weak and doddery Joe Biden seemed recently. So it's hard to feel that won't have some impact on swing voters. Secondly, the kind of people, particularly some right-wingers who really dislike Trump, I think you can see this on Twitter almost. There's been a bit of rallying round of them that if this is the kind of thing that happens, maybe we actually have to be a bit more open to Trump. Maybe his enemies are worse than he is. And then thirdly, I think that actually matters most is obviously Joe Biden is almost certainly behind in the race for the Oval Office, or another Democrat if he ends up stepping down. Biden, the best hope has been run a really ruthless campaign on that Trump is really dangerous and evil and will be a catastrophe. And I just think the nature of this kind of attack is it makes it a bit harder to run that kind of campaign. They certainly have to delay launching it. So I think that makes life more difficult for them. But the fact is, no reasonable person thinks Joe Biden was in any way responsible for this assassination. And most people are going to be voting on what they think is better for America, not on who's been shot lately. So it's the kind of thing that's very shocking, but one shouldn't exaggerate how much it affects electoral outcomes.
All right, Tom Packer from London, many thanks for that analysis and insight. Much appreciated.